What if one of the biggest solutions to environmental problems isn't new technology, but just better education? Because when you really think about it, a lot of environmental damage doesn't come from people trying to do harm, it comes from people just not knowing the impact of their actions.
And that's what makes this topic so important. If people don't understand what's happening, it's hard for them to care or do anything about it. Today, we're going to talk about how education plays a huge role in environmental action and how simply informing people can actually lead to real change.
So first, what do we mean by environmental action? Basically, it's any effort to protect or improve the environment, which includes things like reducing pollution, conserving energy, recycling, or even supporting environmental policies. It can be small everyday things too, like using less plastic, saving water, or just being more aware of how your actions affect the environment.
And when we talk about education in this context, we're not just talking about school or classrooms. Education can come from a lot of places: the news, social media, documentaries, or even conversations like the one we're having.
Public awareness campaigns are a big part of it too. Like when you see ads about climate change or recycling, that's all designed to inform people and influence behavior.
And the main idea is very simple. When people understand an issue, they're way more likely to take it seriously and actually change what they do. One of the biggest global environmental issues right now is climate change. And one of the clearest examples of that is rising ocean temperatures.
Yeah, data shows that ocean heat has been steadily increasing over time, which is a major sign of global warming, and that has a huge impact on marine ecosystems, weather patterns, and even sea levels. I think a big issue is that a lot of people hear about climate change, but they don't fully understand what it actually means or necessarily how serious it is.
Exactly. So if people don't understand the science behind it, it just feels like another headline instead of something that directly affects them.
And that's where education comes in, because once people understand the long-term effects, they're more likely to support solutions or change their habits. Another major issue is pollution, especially when it comes to microplastics in the ocean. There was a study on the Mediterranean and Red Sea that found really high levels of microplastics in the water, which shows how widespread pollution has become.
And the crazy part about this is that most of these plastics come from everyday use: water bottles, packaging, or even clothing fibers. So it's not just big companies, it's also regular people contributing to it without even realizing.
And that's why education is so important. If people understood how their daily habits add up, they'd probably think twice about what they use and what they throw away.
And this isn't just happening in one place. Research in the Caribbean shows serious marine pollution and coastal degradation that's affecting ecosystems and local communities.
And when you look at statistics on the Mediterranean, you can see a clear trend of increasing environmental stress over time.
So no matter where you look, it's always the same pattern. Environmental problems are growing, and a big part of that is the lack of awareness.
Yeah, because people don't know there's a problem or they don't understand how serious it is, they're not going to change anything, because why would they?
So that raises the question: if these issues are so widespread and serious, why aren't people doing more to fix them?
And that's where education really starts to matter, because once people are informed, their mindset and behavior can actually start to change.
And that's what we're going to get into next: why education actually works and how it can lead to real environmental impact.
When you look at all this together, it becomes clear that education plays a major role in how people respond to environmental issues. If more people were informed about climate change, pollution, and sustainability, even small actions could begin to make a meaningful difference. These actions might include reducing waste, conserving resources, or simply being more mindful in everyday decisions. While these changes may seem small, they can build over time and create a larger impact. It's also important to recognize that education doesn't only happen in schools. It comes from social media, news, and everyday conversations. Even just parents educating their kids in small ways can have major impacts on the planet. Ultimately, the goal is to spread awareness, because once people understand the issue, they are far more likely to take action. At the end of the day, the youth is our future, so that means that they are this planet's future. Even if you don't want to step up and help, the smallest thing you can do is educate the younger generation, and this will have the biggest impact.
When we look at the bigger picture, environmental problems are not going to solve themselves, and they are only going to become more serious over time. Issues like climate change, pollution, and resource depletion are affecting ecosystems, communities, and future generations all across the world. One of the most effective ways to address these challenges is by making sure people truly understand what is happening and also why it matters. When individuals are informed, they are more likely to care, and when they care, they are more likely to take action in their everyday lives. Now, that action does not always have to be large. It sometimes starts with small decisions like reducing waste, conserving energy, or simply being more aware of environmental impact, and over time, these small actions can build into larger change, especially when more and more people are more educated on these issues. Education also plays a key role in shaping future generations, influencing how students think about sustainability and the responsibility that they have toward the environment. Beyond the classroom, education through media, social platforms, and public discussions continues to spread awareness and encourage action on a more broader scale, as ultimately, education is what connects knowledge to real-world change.